Today on the Transplant Helper, I'm going to give to you my number one recommended pharmacy that I tell everyone to use without question every time. So stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome to Transplant Helper today. My name is Jim Merle. I get asked the question all the time, Jim, what pharmacy do you recommend I use after transplant? I'm going to tell you up front, to be honest with you, I have never, ever answered this question any differently than I'm about to answer it right now. So my answer that I'm giving is one that I've stood behind for a while, and I suppose unless someone convinces me much differently, will stand behind for a long while even after that. Because in my opinion, this has not only saved my life on a few occasions, but many and countless others when they know to do this. And that is very simply stated, I recommend that you always use the pharmacy associated with your transplant center. Almost every transplant center, and I've tried to do my research, I may have missed a few, but nearly every transplant center in the United States has some type of pharmacy on site where they use to refill, especially transplant medications or chemo medications, very specialized medications for their patients. And as a transplant patient, you have wide open access to that if you'll only take advantage. Now, someone's going to argue with that and say, wait a minute, that's not true. I tried to use my transplant center, but I couldn't because my insurance denied that. They wanted me to use this other company, or they wanted me to go mail order or whatever. I tried to use them and they couldn't. Well, let me let you in on a little secret as far as insurance company goes, and that if you will pitch a big enough fit, for lack of better terms, you can actually file for a waiver or an appeal, depending on how they look at it, where you can absolutely force them to fill those medications at the pharmacy that you choose. And that is especially easier than not able to be done because you're talking about very specialized medications, and medications, as we'll mention in a moment, that are not always stocked at the local pharmacy or not always kept up with properly anyway. So I would tell you, if your insurance company is denied filling at your transplant center, then you deny back, you push them back, and you keep fighting until you get back there. And there's 4 reasons why I think that is very, very important. All of these reasons inadvertently can be life or death if things go awry. So reason number 1, I fill with my transplant center, the UAB Specialty Pharmacy, every time. I fill with them because, number 1, they know them. And by them, I mean they know the medications. They know the medications better than anyone else. You take a prescription for tacrolimus or for Valsite or for Myfortic or for microphenolate or for, you name a number of medications that many of us have not, if we're not on them, we tried them before. You take that down out of the blue, turn it in at the window at the local Walgreens or CVS or Rite Aid. All of those pharmacists are going to look at that and say, I've never seen this before. Or, we can get it, I think. Let me check the computer. Oh, yeah, we can get it. We can have it here next Friday. What's the problem with that? You didn't come there to fill your medicine next Friday. You came there to fill it that day. So you need the medication, and basically they don't have it, and basically they don't understand how bad you need it. You see, each of the medicines I mentioned a moment ago, whether it be tacrolimus or microphenolate or Valsite or even your Bactrim that you take early on, those medications are life or death. Those medications have to be taken, and you've got to be able to have access to them. So by using your transplant center's pharmacy, there's no doubt they know your medication. So you're not going to have as many times when they say, oh, we don't have it, or we accidentally gave you the wrong pill. Not nearly as much of that. So avoid that. Number 2 falls right in behind that is they stock those medications. It's not the case that they tell you, okay, if you'll call us by Tuesday, we'll try to have your medicine in here by Friday, and we'll let you pick it up Friday afternoon. Not acceptable. You need a pharmacy, and the transplant pharmacies are generally this way, that they have the medications stocked to the gills, shelves stocked high with those certain meds, and when you need one, you walk in the door, they pull a box, pull a bottle off the shelf, hand it to you, and you walk out. And if you're unable to go there, most of them have delivery services that can be done as quickly as overnight, or even in my case, UAB Specialty Pharmacy has a few couriers that will actually take your bag of medicine, jump in their car, and drive an hour to my house and hand deliver that to make sure that it gets there on time. So they not only know them, they stock them, and that's a wonderful thing. In the third place, they oftentimes support them. They support them. And what I mean by that is they are there for you. I know I'm 4 years and 7 months out now. I'm 4 years, 7 months out of transplant, and I have been getting a phone call every single Wednesday for 4 years and 7 months. Like clockwork. About 10 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call every single Wednesday. I pull my phone out of my pocket and I start talking to Christy or Jennifer or Stephanie, those 3 pharmacies techs. And they say, Mr. Merle, how are you doing? And they say, Mr. Merle, are there any medications that you seem to be running short on? And they say, well, Mr. Merle, since you think you have them all, let me suggest that you go back and check this medicine, or that one. And then they turn around and say, hey, did your last order deliver on time because they had shipped at UPS? Did you get all the boxes? Did you get all the boxes in good condition? Was the medication what you were expecting? All these questions to do why? Because they care. Because they turn and ask questions like, hey, Jim, how are your children doing? How you been feeling? Hadn't seen you over here at the hospital visiting in a while. Conversation, they know me. I guess they love me in that sense, and I love them. They're great at what they do, and I like it. I like it when my phone rings on Wednesday morning, and my pharmacist, maybe I don't have any of my bottles that need to be refilled, but they're always calling to check, and sometimes they catch much that I don't. In the fourth place, they also deliver them. And what I mean by deliver them is not just the fact that, yes, they do. They pack them away in a UPS truck or a FedEx truck, or some man pitches them in the back of his car and takes off as fast as he can, probably blows by all the police on the interstate, and they get my medicines to me that way. I'm not talking about that kind of delivery. What I'm talking about is they bring it and they deliver it regardless of a few things. For example, I've had medications over and over and over again. I'm not talking about a bottle of pills that cost $2.73. I'm talking about bags of Milrinone that cost $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 being delivered to my house, where they walk in, they say, hey, here's your week's worth of bags, here's your week's worth of medicine, hey, here's a new pump because your pump tore up, and amount to $25,000, $30,000 worth of equipment and medication, and them turn around and walk out with me saying, hey, how much do I owe you? And they say, nothing. And nothing is a zero with the edges rubbed off. That's what nothing is. I don't owe them anything. Why? Is it the case I'll never owe them anything? Probably not. But unlike these home health places, or unlike these chain pharmacies like Walgreens and CVS, who's standing there with their hand out wanting the money, or got the machine ready to swipe the card, they've got all that. Hey, if you don't have the money, you don't pay the money. UAB Specialty Pharmacy, Birmingham, Alabama, it sends your meds. You get your meds. Will you get a bill in the mail? Yeah, probably. There's a piece of one right there. It's a piece of one. Bill for $170-something. I paid it. I move on. Don't worry about it. I've gotten bills for $700 or $800. You know what I do with them? I don't pay them, and I move on, and I don't worry about it. That's sometimes the best that you can do. And having a pharmacy that will not deny your medications because you're not paid up, or because the insurance company is not going to pay their proposed amount, it's a bad idea. So let me encourage you. Use your transplant pharmacy associated with your hospital whenever possible. Be sure they know what they have, they stock what they have, they deliver what they have, and they support what they have. And this is all I've had to say, so I guess it's time for me to kind of kick on out and get out of here. I got to get to bed anyway, but I love my audience. I love each of you who view this program every week. Those of you who subscribe and hit the bell notification means a tremendous amount to me. It means an awful lot, and I cannot thank you enough for that. But anyway, until next time, I'm going to do you a good one today. Stay stronger, friends.